Hello guys, welcome to our first Python lecture where we are going to learn how to start creating our Python script. So in this lecture we are going to create our very first Python program. Now this Python program will simply print out a message, hello friend, welcome to Python programming. Alright, so I'm here on my Kali Linux machine. So I'm going to launch my terminal, and the terminal I love using is the XFCE terminal. So I'm going to call that XFCE terminal and launch it. Now, okay. So now to the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to create a directory. A directory that I'm going to place all the Python script that we are going to create in this course. So I'm simply going to navigate to my currently pwd is a command that will print the working directory as we have seen in the basic Linux commands. So I'm currently at home Faisal directory. All right. So I'm going to navigate to the desktop directory, desktop. Right, and then on my desktop directory I'm going to create a folder called lectures. So I'm going to make use of the command sudo make dir lectures. So the name of the folder that I wish to create is lectures, and I'm making use of the Linux command make mkdir, which is the make directory command that will create a directory for me. So now I'll just press enter. Now I'll specify my password. Alright, so I have created a folder, and if I go to the desktop, I will be able to see this particular directory that I have been able to create on the desktop. Okay, but unfortunately it comes with a padlock, and that means when I try to attempt to use this, I might experience some issues, permission issues. So the best thing to do, if I want to save anything in this folder, if I attempt to save anything in this folder, I'm going to encounter some issues, some permission issues, because what this padlock means that I'm not the owner of this folder that I have just created. So I'm going to run a command that will remove this padlock icon from the directory. So the command is simply sudo on, and then -r, then a $sign, user, then another a $sign again, and then home. Okay, I'll just press enter. Okay, so what this command will do, this command will simply transfer the ownership of this directory to the current account, the current user account that the terminal is currently running on, which is home, which is Faisal user account. So now I am free to make use of that folder. All right. So now the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to launch the Sublime text editor that we are going to use to create our Python script. So to launch it from the terminal, I'll just simply enter the command subl, subl, and then I'll just press enter. And now I am on the I've launched the Sublime text editor. Now the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to create my the script. So I'll just come here, create a file rather. So I'll just come here, new file, and then I'll select new file that I want to create a new file. Alright, so I've created a new file. Now I will save it to that particular directory, lectures, that we created on the desktop directory. So I will still come over here again, file, and then I'll click save. Then I will navigate. Okay, I'm already on the directory, Faisal desktop lectures. So I'm already on that directory. Now I will specify the name of the Python script first, program.py. Okay, so Python programs end with the py extension. Now this is how IDEs and text editor recognize that this is a Python script. So and also if you want to run it, this is how Python will recognize that this is a Python script. So it has to end with the .py extension. So I'll let me scroll down, and then I'll click on save. Okay, so we have created the file. So I'll go ahead and enter my script, and then I will explain what those lines of code do. All right, so this successfully created our first Python script. So we are going to go over the all the lines of code and see what each line of code does. Okay, so the first line is what we call a shebang, or we call it either a shebang or hashbang, because it starts with the hash. So this is a hash, and then this is a bang. The exclamation mark is known as a bang. Then this is the hash. So together I call it a shebang or hashbang. Hashbang. Okay, so and then this is how we specify it: user bin env python 3. So what this does is that this particular line invoke a program called env. Now this program env will now go over the path of this our on this machine, go over the path, and then go over the directories that are in the path, and then look in the first instance of a directory where this interpreter resides, because and then this shebang is common in not only Python scripting, almost all scripting languages. Either it is Ruby, either it is Perl, or any other scripting language that we intend to use to create our programs. We usually make use of the shebang. Now this shebang will now invoke env. Env is a program found in this directory user bin, and then so it is basically invoking this env, and then env will now make use of the path and then go over the directories in the path, and then the first directory that contains an instance of this our Python 3. In this case, in our case, this is Python 3 interpreter. We are a Python 3 interpreter, so it will go to the first directory where we have this Python 3 interpreter, and then use it to run this our script. We will see this the use of this shebang comes in handy when we compile this script into an executable file, and then when we intend to use it as an executable file. Now that is where shebang comes in handy. So to see this, let's I'm on the terminal here. If I say sudo env, and then if I run m, now you see among the output you see a path. So you see path, so, and in the path we have this locations. So user local sbin, user local bin, user sbin, user bin, and then user then sbin, and then bin. So it will go over the first directory here. If it finds Python 3 interpreter, then it will use it to run our script. Now the importance of this shebang is that though we can in some Python script, instead of seeing this shebang, you might see something like this. Okay, so sudo user bin python 3. You might see this. So here they are specifying the absolute path where this Python 3 interpreter is. So basically, the env and the Python 3 are mostly in some Linux distribution. They reside in the same location. Likewise, in Kali Linux, both env and Python 3 reside in the same user bin directory location. So here they are calling the Python 3 interpreter direct by specifying the absolute path where this Python 3 interpreter resides. So they are calling it and then make use of it to run the script. This is the particular Python script. So, but this make the program not to be portable because it is not in every Linux distribution that have Python 3 residing in this particular user S bin. What if it is residing in a different location other than user bin, and then we are trying to invoke Python 3 from user bin? Then we are going to have some conflicting issues because Python 3 is not residing in that particular directory, and we are invoking it to run our Python script. So that is where the first line, the Shebang variation of the first line comes in handy. So it will invoke env, and now env will go over path, and then go over the path. All right, go over the path, and then go over the directories. And then the first directory where it finds that particular interpreter, which in our case is Python 3, then it will make use of it and then use it to run that particular script. So we are going to see how this comes in handy when we turn this file into an executable file. Now, line number 2 is a white space. Now, white space, they are just there to increase program readability, to make our program more readable, more legible. Okay, so just to make the program more readable. And they are, and both Shebang, you can see that also Shebang begin with a hash sign. Basically when we come to line 3, you see that we also have a hash sign. So hash sign is used to make a comment. So line number 3 is a comment. This is the first Python program. Also, comment is to make our program more understandable by us, with the authors of that particular program, and by others. If others pick our program, they'll be able to know what our program is doing, what it consists of, so they'll be able to know, fully understand our program. So that is why both Shebang and a comment begin with a hash sign. So in the interpreter, when the interpreter comes to interpret this our program, it will ignore any line that begin with a hash sign, and it will also ignore white spaces. So it will not attempt to interpret white spaces and any line that begin with a hash sign. Now, line number 5 is where we have our Python interpretation begins actually. And line number 5, we are invoking a function, a print function. Now, a function is a unit of a program that carries out a specific task, usually a one task. So the concept of function is is programming approach that uses the divide and conquer approach, where our programs are divided into units, into several unit modules, each unit carrying out a specific task. And that makes our work more simpler and more organized, because we know that print function is responsible solely for printing out things and not for doing any other thing again. And a function might either be built-in function or a user-defined function. So when we create a function by ourselves, we call it a user-defined function. But print function, we didn't create this function because this function comes in with the Python standard library. We just invoke it and call it and make use of it. And when we call functions, some functions, most functions require that when we call them, we pass an argument to them. So an argument is what we pass to the function to enable it carry out its task. In this case, we pass a string to it, a string argument to it, which is the string is hello friends, welcome to ethical hacking with Python 3. Now, string is among the data types that we have in Python. A way of representing data. We have several data types: float, integers, and strings. So string is one of the data types that we have in Python, and basically a string is used in representing a text. So letters of the alphabet, numbers, that is numerical numbers that we don't intend to use in calculations. So alphanumeric, symbols, special symbols, and all the punctuations can be represented using a string. So here basically we are invoking function print, and we are passing a string to it as argument. So whatsoever we pass to it as argument will be the value that is going to be actually printed out by the print function. So print function will print out this message: well, hello print, welcome to ethical hacking with Python 3. So now we are going to run this script and see whether it performs, whether the program will run successfully. So let me save the program. I will now Control S. I'll save it. Now I'll go to the terminal and run this program. So to run the program, all I have to do, let me navigate to the directory where I have the script, where we created the script, lectures, clear the terminal. Now to, ls. Now you can see that it is this is our this is the Python script that we have just created. Now to run it, I'm going to call the interpreter first. So I'm going to write the name of the interpreter, which is Python 3, then followed by the name of the program, which is first program.py. Now I'll just hit enter, and as you can see, our program has executed successfully. It has printed the message, hello friends, welcome to ethical hacking with Python 3. Okay, so now I can also wish to make my program executable, so that whenever I need to run it, I don't need to write the name of the interpreter. I'll just put a dot, backward slash, and then name of the program, and then I'll hit enter, and then the program will run. Okay, so let's see how we do that. To change our program into an executable, all we have to do is to enter the command sudo and then chmod, okay, and then +x, then followed by the name of the file that I want to make into an executable file. So chmod is a command that will +x, chmod +x is a command that will make my file into an executable file. So I'll just hit enter. Okay, so let me ls and see the content. Now as you can see, even the color of the file first program.py, the color has changed. It is now greenish. Now whenever you see this color, greenish color, okay, it means that this is an executable file. So to run to execute this file, all I have to do, I'll just put a dot and then forward slash, then followed by the name of the program, postprogram.py, and then I'll just hit enter. And as you can see, our program has run successfully. Now, this is where when we run this program as an executable file, now this is where our shebang comes in handy. So as we run it using the executable in the executable format, now what happens is that when it comes to line number 1, it will now this env program, env is an executable program, will now go through the path as we have seen, go through the path and then look over the directories, and then the first directory where it finds this particular interpreter Python 3, it will make use of it to run our program. That is why we run the program confidently without writing the name of the interpreter that we wish to use to run this executable Python script, because we know that we have already specified the interpreter that we want to use to run this script using the shebang. So this is the role shebang plays in a Python script. Now if we remove the shebang and replace it with the absolute path to the Python 3 interpreter, the program will still function. So let's remove this and then replace it with Python 3, because Python 3 is also in this particular directory, user bin env. Okay, and to see that, let's go to the terminal. When we come to the terminal, and then Let me type this command: ls user bin, and then I hit enter. Okay, so these are all the programs that are in that particular directory, but I want to see whether is Python actually located in this directory. So let me run the command again, but in this case I'm going to modify the program a bit. So I'm going to make use of what you call a pipe. So I'm piping it into this particular command grep, and then I want to extract any occurrence of this Python. So basically what I'm doing here, I'm using the ls user bin, and it will run as usual. It will list out all the content of this particular directory user bin, and then I'm using another I'm piping it. This is what you call it. This command is a piping command to push the result. All this result here to push it to the next command, which is grep. And basically, what grep is that what grep command does is going to extract the keyword that I have specified to it. So I specify the keyword Python to it. So it's going to go over the content of this, the result returned by this ls the result returned by this, which is the whole of this content, as I have run this particular command and we have seen it. So it's going to go over all this content and then extract any file that has the keyword Python in it. So let me run it and see. So as you can see, all of these files have the word Python in them. So as you can see, I have Python 3. So Python 3 is located in this particular directory, user bin, in the user bin directory, and I can also confirm that my env is also located in that particular directory. So let me run it again. So as you can see, we have the env program executable program also located in that particular directory. All right, so and when we run the Python using this user bin by specifying the absolute path, our program will still function. So let's go and run the program and see whether will the program run. Okay, sorry. So the terminal. So let me run it again. I'm using the arrow key since I've already run the command, so I can see the commands. So first program.tp, I'll run it. You can see our program has still run successfully, even though we didn't use the user bin env. We specify the absolute path to the Python 3 interpreter, but this will be an issue where we transfer this Python script to another Linux distribution where this Python 3 interpreter is not located in this particular directory user bin, and we have make the Python script into an executable. Then this Python executable script will not run because we specify the absolute path as user bin Python 3, and the Python 3 is not located in the user bin directory of that particular Linux distribution. And also to see that actually, let's say, let me make use of incorrect, let me say home Faisal directory. We have this is the directory for the user Faisal, which is the account that we are running on. And we know that this Python 3 is not located in this particular directory. Now let's run this program and see, will it run? Alright, so let me run it again. Will it run? No, you see, we are having issue because the program couldn't locate the bad interpreter, no such file or directory. So it couldn't find the directory. It couldn't find the directory in that particular location that we specify using the Shebang. So it is always recommended that we make use of the user bin, then you make use of the env to locate where the interpreter that we want to use, in this case Python 3, is located in that particular machine where we intend to run our Python 3 script. Another way of running Python script is that we can also run it interactively in an interactive mode, instead of writing it in a file and then invoking the interpreter and then making use of the interpreter to run the script. We can run it interactively. So I'll just come to run it interactively. I'll just come to the terminal and then I will invoke the interpreter, which is Python 3 that I want to make use of. So we have entered into the Python 3 interactive mode. Now I can write the script that I want to run. So print, I'll just want to print the message, hello friends, welcome to Python 3 programming. So hello friends, welcome to Python 3 programming, welcome to Python, welcome to ethical hacking with Python 3. So welcome to ethical hacking with Python 3, ethical hacking with Python 3, not Python 4. All right, so close it, and then so I'll just hit enter, and as you can see, we have seen our result immediately. Hello friends, welcome to ethical hacking with Python 3. So to exit, I can just write exit, invoke the exit function, or I can make use of Control D, and then I will exit the Python interactive mode.